International Financial Services Centers Authority, or popularly known as IFSCA, has recently concluded their recruitment cycle for the year 2024. And we have one of the toppers among us today. And he is going to share about his journey of preparing for this examination, what were the obstacles did he face, and how he overcome them. So, without further ado, first just let's welcome the guest on our platform. Hi, Bharat. Welcome to EduTap YouTube channel, and we all would like to wish you all the very best and all the congratulations for your big achievement.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello.
Hi.
Nice to be here.
Right. All right. So let's just start from the like very start, like how IFSCA, because see, this is not a regular recruitment, although it is coming for the last 2 years, but it is not as such a regular recruitment. And when we talk about subjects, like there are a lot of subject in it. Although we are going to discuss about like how you prepare from these subjects in the further questions, right? But starting off with how to even dare to prepare for this examination, like if I may ask, like what was your mindset about your education background? Did it help you somehow to prepare for this examination or not?
Okay, ma'am. So first of all, I would like to state that intrinsic motivation is the biggest factor that let you pursue any endeavor that you are capable of.
True.
So for pursuing IFSA, I was intrinsically motivated and my why was very clear. So I was very determined that I have to do this at any cost because it is a unified regulator. It is one of its kind in the entire India, and it is intellectually satisfying to me that I'll be getting an opportunity to work at a dynamic organization where I'll get a unparalleled exposure like no one else.
True, true, that's true. Right. And motivation is only something that leads to the magnificent changes you can say in this world. Right.
Right.
Right. And your like education background is it is in?
Okay, so I did my BTech in electrical engineering from Delhi Technological University in 2020.
Right. And then switching to everything with finance, accountancy, commerce, it must have been hard, right?
Yes, initially it was hard, it was confusing because I did not know where to study from, what are the right resources. So the transition initially, every transition is hard, but if you are determined enough, if you are consistent enough, you eventually make it.
True, true.
That's what I
That's
believe.
true. Right. And also, you're doing a job currently. You are double AO, right?
Yeah, currently I'm working as an administrative officer in New India Assurance.
Right. All right. So, like, you already had a job, like, you were already having a good job, I would say, right? And
Yes.
still, you thought of, like, now let's go for better options because you knew your caliber. So, you knew you can do better. So, you decided to go for it, right? But having that demon inside you, till what time am I going to study? When I'm going to enjoy? I want to, like, have fun in the weekends.
Okay.
Did you ever have those thoughts, or you were like more focused that no, let's just first get to where I want to be, and then later on, like, I'll have these things?
Okay, so initially when I got selected in this year itself. So when I got selected, I enjoyed, I did trips, I did party, but at a point of time, I thought that I should utilize this time productively and I should do something which I'm more capable of. So IFS is a new organization started in 2019. So if you're a part of a new organization, you learn tremendously. And by the time you retire, there's a high potential that you'll reach to the top management. So I
True.
reevaluated my career goals and I thought it will be a good exposure for me. And if I can compensate, if I can compromise with my comfort zone for this particular time, I can enjoy for the rest of my life.
True, true, that's true. And I think it took us a lot of discipline to,
Yes.
yeah, to have that in mind, right? That I will be having time in future to enjoy, but let's at this moment just
Yes.
start, like, focus on the studies. So, did
Yes.
you started your preparation for IFSCA for a long time, or like when notification came, then only like this year, then you opened your books and stuff?
Actually, it was last year when I decided that IFSCA should be my dream job. So last year also I gave an attempt. I reached till mains and I couldn't qualify. So I was like sure कि next year also I'll try. And when I was so sure that I have to try, then number of seats were not a challenge for me
Yeah.
because this was my burning desire. It was I was determined that If not this year, then next year. But till the age I'm eligible, I'll keep trying for ISCA. So it
True.
was it was last year when I decided I should start studying for IFSC grading.
Right. So, like, why IFSCA over RBI or SEBI? Because among the aspirants who specially prepare for regulatory, like, these are the dream jobs. Not like, if I have to be honest, not even NABARD. NABARD is
Mhm.
somewhere secondary, right? But
Right.
RBI and SEBI is something like they want to be part of.
Hmm.
So, what made you choose IFSCA over RBI and SEBI?
Okay. So first reason could be, ma'am, global exposure to the financial ecosystem, and it is a unified regulator which is a combination of banking, insurance sector, pension, and capital market. So it is a one-stop solution towards the all financial sector needs.
True.
And being a unified regulator, it has some unique powers. It has a combined powers of all the regulators. So this itself is the biggest reason why I chose IFSCA over other regulatory bodies. Second reason was, since I was contributing to the insurance sector in NISL, so I had gone through various trainings and I had developed a significant understanding of how insurance market operates.
Yeah.
So I thought that through ISCA, I'll be able to contribute to the insurance sector at the global level. So it will be like I'll be one step ahead. And in when I was in a previous organization to NICL, I was in Maruti Suzuki, where I learned the concept of Kaizen.
Yeah.
And Kaizen means small and continuous improvement and gradual improvements. So that is my philosophy for pursuing IFSC.
Right. That's really good to know. And you have achieved your dream job. That's the best
Yes.
thing I think that can happen to any aspirant. Right.
Yes.
So now let's come to like the technical part of the examination. Right. So you have given last year exam also and this year also.
Yes.
First of all, I would want to ask you. I know many aspirant would want to know, is the difficulty level as of now it is increasing year by year, or what were the like similarities or differences did you feel between the last year's and this year's paper?
Okay, so QRE is like phase one was similar as before, because you have to secure 40 percentage out of 100 to clear that, and there is no merit based on that. But
Yeah.
mains was considerably very different compared to the last year. Last year it was very regulatory intensive, but this time uh, it was very easy because basic questions were asked, which were meant to check your foundations. So the students, those who are having a broader perspective of how finance and economy operates, they were able to manage it properly. So it was quite surprise for us because we were prepared for the regulations, but
Yeah.
the regulations part did not come. The union budget and economic survey part did not come, and the basic finance and economy came.
Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
you are living away from home, you're having a job, and along with that, you were preparing for the exams, right? So how did your like schedule it look like? How did you manage everything? So did like you used to study early or at late night, or like how did you utilize your time with all this thing, all the responsibility you were having at individual level?
Okay. So I utilized weekends to the optimum, ma'am. Whatever holidays I got, instead of sleeping, watching Netflix and chill, instead of going to trips and saying so many no's to friends, I decided that I should work on myself. And that was the major chunk of time where I improved my knowledge. And on daily basis, whether I was traveling, like it takes me 40 minutes to travel through metro and reach my office. So that was a time where I'll watch some lecture in a concept where I'm lacking. And while coming back, I'll read some topics that are relevant for the exam. So this was the time where I was buying the, slots to
Yeah.
cover for my preparation.
Right, true. All right. So, first, let's just start off with the paper one of phase one. All right. So, for the students who don't know yet, so there are two phases in this examination. Third being the interview, but like where you have to study, that's phase one and phase two, which are further divided into two paper each. So, in phase one of paper one, we have quants, reasoning, English, and current affairs.
Right.
And like you have to overall, out of 100 marks, you have to overall score 30%, that is like 30 marks above, and you clear this paper one, right? So like what was your strategy for quant, reasoning, English? We will keep that separate. And for current affairs, how did you prepare, or what you suggest student that if they want to prepare, like what are the things in current affairs they should prepare?
Okay, ma'am. So as you said that in phase one, there is paper one and paper two. Paper one, QRE and current affairs consist of 25 questions each. And the best part of IFSCA or any other regulatory bodies, there is no section wise cutoff.
Yeah.
So if you have given weightage to a particular section, suppose if your quant is strong and your reasoning and English is moderate and current affair is very weak, still you can manage to get that 30% and overall 40% in the paper one.
Yeah.
So in my case, my quant was very strong. Quant and reasoning were very strong. And English moderate, it is easier level, and maximum of the students can go through English. For current affairs, I dependent on mocks. I gave tremendous amount of mock test, and through those mock tests, I identified what are the repeating questions for current affairs, and those particular topics I watched through YouTube videos in detail. So that was
Okay.
my strategy because I knew that without having without giving much weightage to current affairs, I can still get through this exam.
True.
For
True.
phase two, for paper two, there are so many subjects like costing, finance, economics, management,
Accounting.
accounting. So few of the subjects I had studied already in my BTech, and I had already appeared for PFRDA Grade A and RBI Grade B. So through those papers, I had the knowledge of those, and then utilizing those knowledge, I gave mock test and I did reverse learning. So
Okay.
identifying what are my weak concepts, what are the chapters that I need to study from detail. I made a list of those topics and then I studied those topics from YouTube.
Right. Okay. So can you like suggest some YouTube channels maybe or some other online source that you have referred? For example, if somebody would want to study these topics.
Okay. So EduTap is a great source of information because there are playlists, dedicated playlists for management, for finance and economics. So I would suggest key source of information should be single source, but test series or MCQ banks can be diversified.
True.
Right, ma'am.
Right. So that you can get the content from one place, but then you can test your knowledge because all the
From
test
previous
series would be
places.
asking question in different manner. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So that would help with the holistic approach. Right. So
Yes.
you have shared about about how you prepared the content, but like if I would have to ask about the difficulty level, so I'll ask you the subject name and then if you could share that what is the level. For example, in costing accounting, like all these subjects, is numericals are asked in the examination or not?
Sometimes they're asked and sometimes they're not. So I would suggest ki we should not be focusing on whether numericals are being asked or not. We should be focusing ourselves on the fundamentals and the conceptual clarity. Because if your concepts are clear, then you can approach numericals as well. Because you'll be knowing the formula, you'll be knowing how that formula is being derived.
Yeah, true.
So we cannot rely on the fact that whether numericals are asked or not. Because this year numericals were not asked, but I guess last year one or two numericals were asked.
Okay. And if you talk about quants and reasoning, is the level that of, like normal IBPS banking exam level or that of RBI or CAT level, like high level questions?
The quant and reasoning level is doable and it is banking IBPS level. And with consistent practice of mocks, one can approach them easily.
Right. And for current affairs, like difficulty level is determined by how random the questions are asked. So for current affairs, like even if you have not yourself pushed or prepared that much, like but still, if you look at the question, what do you feel? Are those more financial sector side type of question, or they were like random questions, the generic general awareness that is there?
It was, ma'am, it was kind of mixed bag, but the weightage was given to financial sector. What are the developments happening in the financial sector and financial ecosystem? How the economy is operating, and these were the major chunk of questions. But yes, there were questions asked from sports and space, and what are the ongoing schemes. So it was a mixed bag, but yes, weightage was given to the financial sector.
Right. So, like for example, you said that how mock test helped you with understanding the current affairs, and then you used to in detail search for it. But especially like for finance sector, because somehow you knew that finance sector general awareness is going to help you with phase one, phase two, and especially with the interview. So,
Right.
for financial sector current affairs, did you have any dedicated source, or for that also you were relied on the test series and everything only?
I was majorly relying myself on test series, but yes, I did watch some videos like which shows the compilation of 6 months past, 6 months current affairs in the financial sector, and that is also provided by EduTap. So
Hmm.
that gives a, it gives a better idea of how to revise what you have been studying from various sources. So it provides the information in a consolidated form.
Right, true.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you were preparing for this examination from last year, okay?
Yes.
Plus, you have cleared one such almost similar examination, right? So, I want to ask that, and this year you just relied on test series. So,
Yes.
based on your experience, what would you say that your previous knowledge helped you more in the examination, or somehow you feel like no, test series do help students in the examination? Like, if you have to give recommendation, would you suggest students to take test series and mock test more, or like one or two would be enough just to get the idea how the questions are asked, and rest is all about your own preparation?
I think, ma'am, both the segments carries equal importance. Last previous preparation also, like most of the time, aspirants feel that whatever I have studied, it has gone to waste. But it is not the case, because when I was doing my graduation, I prepared for GATE, and I could not qualify GATE with that required rank. But that knowledge, I was thinking that whatever time I invested in that, it has gone to waste. But when I gave that New India Assurance exam, the specialization was in risk engineering, and all the subject was related to GATE exam. So
Oh.
that information I could utilize in this exam so that I could become administrative officer. Similarly, this year, whatever the hard work I had done in the previous year, I could utilize in this exam. But yes, test series are very much essential to revise your concepts, to identify your weakness where you're lacking, and also to identify your strengths.
Hmm.
So in getting shortlisted in the final list, you need to be very much aware of your strengths and weakness. And I think mock tests are the essential tools to identify these.
Right, true. Right, all right. So now phase one, like it happened, and then there was time for phase two, and in between that time, that is taken by the organization for the result. So at that time, when the result was not out, so were you like taking a rest that I will start off once I have that clarity that have I cleared phase one or not, or what you recommend to aspirants that should they start their preparation for phase two, like irrespective of whatever can be the result for phase one, or even if they don't start that, like अगर उनका time waste होगा या नहीं होगा? Like basically my question is that even if they wait for 1 week for the result,
Hmm.
is it like they are risking their time or not?
I think they are risking their time, especially for the exams like this, where there are only 15 seats in throughout the country. So when I gave my paper, I was I remembered all the questions that I marked that I had answered. So that day itself, I had checked through the answer keys provided by various coachings, and I was scoring around 65 to 70 marks, whereas the cutoff is 40. So I
Hmm.
was sure that I'll make through it. I'll go through it. So I started preparing for mains right after I gave my prelims paper,
All
because
right.
I couldn't afford to lose even a single hour that could make the other person better than me.
True.
So that was my major
Right.
strategy.
Right. Okay. So now in phase two also we have paper one and paper two. And now here in paper one, we don't have now this quants, reasoning, English and stuff. Now we have proper descriptive English paper.
Right.
Right. And in paper two, I would say like there are n number of subject. If I have to say, like we have marketing and means market and capital and finance, insurance, like everything it is there, right? So
Right.
starting off with paper one, let's just discuss that. Like for descriptive English, you have essay, précis, etc. You have in that, right? So, did you have any specific way of preparing? Did you give weightage to any certain topics? Or even like if I say that, okay, there is an essay that is going to be asked, like, right? So, what thing to prepare? Like, it's very generic. When it says essay, it's
Yes.
very generic. So, on what basis did you prepare?
Okay, so ma'am, as I said that before starting a preparation for an exam, first step is self-awareness.
Yeah.
Self-awareness means we need to identify what are our strengths and what are our weakness, so that we can continue to work, continue to sustain our strengths and work on our weakness. So my strength is English, and since I am an experienced corporate guy, so I was good enough in drafting mails and writing. So these skills were the thing that were already advantageous for me. So I did not prepare for descriptive part, because I knew that I can write. I can write the précis, and I can go through the comprehension. And for the essay part, yes, I did look for the current affairs articles. so that because that content part could be well prepared in that case. So I dwelled myself completely into paper two preparation during that particular time
All
because I
right.
knew that this is my strength. So I would suggest to the aspirants that they should identify what is their strengths so that they can plan accordingly what to focus on and what to leave it lightly.
True, true, that's true. Because usually aspirants, what they do, they focus on the weakness more and then
Yes.
they indulge themselves working on that. But
Yes.
sometimes it is also important to know your strength so that you know
Yes.
you can, with little efforts, you can get maximum results over there.
Yes.
Right. So when you were saying that you looked for online articles, so like you dedicatedly looked for only financial sector articles, or like some other component also did you look for?
Actually, through the EduTap course, they had provided a sample PDF
Yeah.
for descriptive essays. So there were so many sample essays provided by them, which had the probability that they could be asked. So I just had a read, and then I was confident enough कि if they ask, I'm able to express myself properly. I'll
Yeah.
write it anyhow.
And now that you've given the examination, like what was the type of questions that were asked?
For the descriptive writing,
Yeah, especially for the essay part, I would say.
okay.
Like what are the topics, like aspirants, if they want to have an idea that what sort of questions are asked in essay. So this year, what your experience says that okay, if you cover like these genres, then you will be able to answer.
So sometimes aspirants think that what current affairs topic they need to prepare in order to be competent enough to write the descriptive part for essay.
Yeah.
But to their comfort, there are four options giving, and we have to choose any one of those. And those are both static as well as current. So even if your current part is weak in some area where you cannot provide like suitable content, then you can choose the static part.
Static component. Hmm.
Yes. So from in my case, it was I think moonlighting and preparing for some better avenues than your existing job. So I thought I'm doing that already, so I
Yeah.
can contribute to the content, and I chose that and I wrote essay about that.
Right, right. So basically, there will be content related to your theoretical syllabus as well, and some related to current affairs, right? So
Yes.
if you feel comfortable in current affairs, you can do so. But still, it's like it would not be an end for you if you don't know current affairs. Somewhat
Yes.
from at least one question will be from static. So
Yes.
the person can choose if he has prepared sincerely for the static part,
Yes.
right? Okay.
And my
Yeah.
advice would be for the descriptive part that even if your content is weak, focus on your grammatical and spelling mistakes because those are the chunk of areas where the maximum of your marks will be deducted.
Right, true. All right. So, yeah, I think, but, and you're from corporate background as well, and plus now you're doing a job. I think typing for you would not have been a problem, right?
Yes, typing was never a problem for me.
Right, true. Now coming to paper two, and there we have like so much of content. So first of all, I want to ask that did you cover all of the syllabus for the exam, or you were pretty much like selective that I should start off with these topics or these subjects and let me focus on these and keep some of the subjects or topic at less priority.
Okay, so what I did was I did past year, previous year papers analysis, and around 18 questions were asked from economic survey and budget alone.
Okay.
So I decided that this part should be very thorough in my case. Then the syllabus is divided into two topics. For example, if it is banking, there is banking in the Indian economy and banking in IFSC regulations. Then capital market in Indian economy and capital market in IFSC. So I
Sure.
divided that, and I like through my analysis, I found out that major weightage is given to the capital market and banking sector. So that portion was like an area of focus for me. Insurance part was thorough for me because I did training through NICL AO in NIA Pune, National Insurance Academy Pune. So insurance sector portion was good enough for me, and to my luck or to my fortune, majority of questions were from insurance sector.
All right.
Yes, and
Right.
yes, test series gives you a greater edge.
Right. True. And here also, like did you focus on current affairs?
I did focus on current affairs, but only for the financial sector part and for the IFSCA part. from
Right.
the website of
Right,
IFSCA.
and coming to this IFSCA, right? So there are a lot, like in IFSCA Act, there are a lot of like provisions that are there, right? And similarly, like for bullion market, there is theoretical content, then the current affair content, right? And then like for gift जो acts हैं, मतलब काफी सारे acts हैं. There are a lot of
Right, right,
provisions in that, right? How
right.
did you like mug up that data, or what do you recommend, that what is the probable way of learning these things?
Okay, ma'am. So, two things that I would like to mention, that I make handwritten notes. So, when you make handwritten notes, there is a probability that you'll remember those concepts for a little longer than the person who has just read it.
True.
So writing handwritten notes and then multiple times revising those, going through those again and again, and giving various, I gave 50 to 55 mocks for mains. So
Mm,
that giving 50 mocks means I have revised my concept 50 times. So
true.
that is the only way to cram, because there is a lot of fact to, cram and by heart.
Right.
So it is not humanly possible to remember everything just in one go. You have to revise it frequently again and again, and that is the only way to keep that much amount of enormous data in your mind.
Right. That's very true. And like when you were like, as you self said, that a lot of revisions are required, right? Not, it's
Yes,
not
ma'am.
normal for a human being to cramp everything at once, right? So
Yes.
initially, like you, for example, you crammed any data, or maybe you were doing mock test and you got to get the learning of a data. Now next time you're doing and you're forgetting. So
Yes.
did it negatively impacted your preparation somehow? Means somehow, you then you have multiple thoughts that I'm not able
Okay.
to remember it, even if I have done this before, I'm not able to remember it. What
Correct.
if, and this, that, and then one thing leads to another, when then you
Right, right,
become,
right.
then you start questioning your preparation. So
Yes,
did you
ma'am.
did you face that, and if you did, how did you overcome it?
Yes, ma'am. I did face that because there were some concept that even after studying 2 or 3 times, I used to make mistakes. But one thing was sure, that I was clear in my mind that if it is happening to me, it is happening to others as well. So what will differentiate me is how I'm dealing with it.
True.
So every time I used to make a mistake, I used to affirm to myself that next time I will remember it for sure. And these affirmations actually work. Whenever I used to go through a data that was very factual and intensive, I used to affirm to myself that मुझे ये याद रहेगा, I will
Hmm.
remember it. So
Hmm.
that actually helped me, and this was the major difference why I couldn't clear last time and why I could clear this time, because I used affirmations a lot on my memory, on my grasping power, on my reading
Hmm.
habit. So
Basically, to have a faith in yourself.
faith in myself, and I did not got disheartened after not knowing, because it is natural, it happens with every aspirant, and if it is happening to you, you just have to revise again.
True. And that's actually the difference between, the different aspirants that prepare for the examination. It's all about consistency and discipline. If you're
Right,
consistent and disciplined, if you are lacking somewhere, you would
right,
have that faith that it would become better. But
right,
if you're not consistent with your preparation, you anyway, then you would lack confidence in yourself. And if you
correct,
lack confidence in yourself, then it would be very difficult for you to cope up with the
correct,
situation, right? So very
correct.
true. All right. So for phase two, that was your preparation. And now coming to like once you have given the paper, right? Now, and last year you could not clear phase two. So this time, were you like scared, or it was more you were like normal because you already have a job?
Mm-hmm. So the sense of desperation was not there, because I already had a backup, and I was already standing on my feet. So that level of desperation was not there. But since it is my dream job, my fingers were crossed that
Hmm.
I should make it. I should make it. Last year the paper was very tough. The cutoff was low. This year the paper was very easy. And the problem for aspirants is when the paper is easy. Aspirants needs to understand this. The problem
Hmm.
is not when it is tough. The problem is when it is easy, because that will be the time when you'll be the most confused person.
True.
And that, because anyone can score higher when it is easy, but not all can score higher when it is tough.
Tough.
So when you are appearing the exam, if it is hard, you need to understand that it is hard for everyone, and eventually the cutoff will normalize this, because it is a relative competition.
Yeah.
So that was the thing.
True, true. All right. So now once the result was out, now what was your next plan? Because then interview it was there and definitely like you would want to have your best impact on the panel, right? So what was your preparation for specifically for interview?
Okay, so my preparation started by knowing about myself first. I did a comprehensive research on insurance sector, about my role, about what do I do, what are my strengths. Second thing is that the interview will surely ask you is that why IFSCA?
Yeah.
Why do you want to join IFSCA? And that answer should be very genuine because they want to know what is your motive behind joining a regulatory body like IFSCA. So in that, you have to be very honest and very you have to show integrity in that answer. Then third thing is the knowledge about IFSA, because in my interview they did ask about recent regulations and the recent happenings in the IFSA. They also asked about how we can compare IFSCA or GIFT City with other global financial centers.
Hmm.
So I divided my preparation into three segments: about myself, about my role, and about IFSCA.
Right, true. And did you give mock test and like how did it help?
Yes, I gave mock interviews from all the sources that were available, and through those I could identify what mistakes I'm making. Like the panel suggested me that I should smile more. I'm good in expressing, but I should smile more. And the mock interview also boosted my confidence. They said that if you continue to answer like this, we are sure that you'll make it. One of the panel also suggested that. So
Yeah,
that did boost my confidence, and the only way to overcome fear is to face it. So
true.
through multiple mock interviews, I faced my fear again and again. So at the time of interview, I just thought that it is a discussion. The panel consisted of five ED members and one UPSC panel member, and all were creating a havoc about it. But I was like, "Ki they are my friends." I created a mindset. I tricked my subconscious that they are my friends, and I'm just going for a discussion. Whatever I know about myself, I'll explain. If I do not know, I'll say that I do not know, but I'll learn about it. So
True.
this was the type of mindset that I created before my interview. And because of this mindset, I was able to express myself properly. No matter how hard you study, if you're in a state of panicness, if you're in a state of anxiety, you will not be able to express yourself to the best of your capability. So
Right.
this was the major mindset shift that I had for
Right.
interview preparation.
And like according to you that our mock test, like you said that you took mock test from every possible institute that was
Right,
offering the help, right? So
right.
like what according to you how similar or different the main interview is from the mock interviews that you have given?
Okay, so the mock interviews generally they were of 20 minutes duration, and the actual interview was of 40 minutes. And they
Okay.
were bombarding the questions. There were six panel members. They were bombarding the questions from every direction, and they had decided that one of the two questions will be so tricky that they'll be judging the reaction of the candidate.
Hmm.
So a member asked me that what is the FDI in insurance? So I said 74%. Then he said, why 74%? Why not 74.6? Why not 73%? So I just handled that question very comfortably. I said, sir, this is a very interesting question which has ignited my curiosity. I'm wondering why didn't I think of it before? And I'll surely learn about it, sir. So he was happy that I was able to deal that tough question or tricky
Yeah.
question, which was meant to shatter my confidence in a good way. So this also aspirants needs to understand that one or two questions will be asked to check your reaction towards that question.
True, true. That's true. And it's
Mm.
all about, how you handle it. It's not about
How you
answering
handle
the
it.
question, but
It's
it's
about
all about
handling
how
it.
how you are handling the question. Right. That's true.
Yes,
All right. And but somehow, like, I still think that these mock interviews might have helped you to understand that on what line the questions might be. Right.
yes. Yes, actually, they help me a lot in knowing to what depth I need to study. Because in one of the mock interview, I was asked what is the insurance penetration of general insurance specifically and life insurance specifically. So I was knowing that insurance penetration is 4%, but I was not knowing what is the insurance penetration for general insurance sector. So those help me to dig deep, to dive deep into the concept that I'm lacking
Yeah.
and to the soft skills that I can improve in myself so that I can explain myself properly.
True. All right. Okay. So once the interview was done, and now it's for the I would say waiting for the D day.
Okay.
So like no matter how good or bad the interview went, right? But
Okay.
you as a person, or as an aspirant, you then become very worried about like what would be the result. There are limited number of seats. I did
Right.
my best, but what if I'm not able to make it? So were you feeling all that, or you just went back to your job and you just focusing on that only?
I was just replaying the questions I asked and I was satisfied with my performance. I was thinking that it went better than any mock interview, and I was thankful to God that I could express myself to the best of my capability. And I was sure that interview segment went on really well, and I will make through the interview. What the game changer will be the mains marks because it carries 85% weightage.
Yeah.
So instead of being fearful, doubtful, I was curious to see. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And because I believe that give your best and rest surrender to the God.
Yeah.
So I just did that and I was calm and composed. And I also did sort of visualizations, like I was visualizing in mirror, how will I react if my result comes? I was seeing my roll number, I was visualizing the final result, I was seeing my roll number in that final list,
Yeah.
and I was mocking whom will I inform first? How will I react? So
Right.
multiple episodes of visualizations I had carried out to pass that time.
Right. And like these visualizations were always on the positive side, or more sometime, the second,
Yeah,
the other side also you thought.
there were second thoughts also, and
Mm.
I that were just meant to how I will adjust myself, how will I
Yeah.
adapt myself if things does not go in my way. What will I do to adapt myself so that I should not be very sad or should go into uh, anxiety or something like that.
Right, right. And the real reaction that came on D-Day, how much similar was it from the practice that you were doing before?
It was like I received four calls from a teacher from another coaching, and he said that you applied for IFSCA and the results are out. And I said that just half an hour ago I checked my results and results are
Mm.
not out. How can you say like that? He said,
Yeah.
"Sir, I have opened the PDF. Your roll number is this, and it is on the PDF." I repeated again, and I was traveling metro. I just came out of the metro because
Yeah.
signals network connectivity issue was there. I downloaded the result myself. I checked and I then pinched myself. I rechecked and then I asked my mother to cross check and confirm. And it took me a day to absorb that much
Absorb.
amount of happiness and actually realizing that yes, it has happened and my visualization has actually been manifested.
True, true, that's true. And in fact, even I have to like conclude or sum up your journey. I would say it's all about mindset. The mindset that you had from starting even before
Yes.
preparation or during
Yes.
preparation or even waiting for result. Like you said for phase two, you were more curious instead of, knowing that would you make it or not, you were more curious that if you lag, where you lag, or if you make it, how much did you make it, right? So
Yes.
having that mindset, it's actually very important, and not for just in the competitive examination, but I would say in life as well.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
yeah, and that really helped you, and now you are officer in IFSCA, and we wish you all the very best for your
Thank you,
future.
ma'am.
And
Thank
at the
you.
end, now for conclude, if we are going to conclude this particular interaction by I want to ask, like, if you want to say something to the aspirants who are thinking to prepare for IFSCA examination, or in fact I would say any examination, like what is that word of advice that you would want to give to them?
Okay, ma'am. So based on my past experiences and multiple failures, I would like to give three advices to the aspirants. First is your mindset is your biggest strength. All are doing preparation, but it is your mindset that separates you from the crowd. Second is establish a sense of connection with a higher power. Give your best and surrender to them with utmost faith. My third suggestion will be your failures are your best friends. So they will teach you the lesson which is necessary to reach till your biggest achievement.
True.
So these three suggestions I would like all aspirants to follow, and my best wishes to the all the future aspirants of IFSC.
That was wonderful talking to you, and it was, I would say, it was a very positive vibe I had throughout the session. And we from EduTab, we want to wish you all the very best for your future. May you achieve greater heights, and in
Thank
your
you.
professional life as well as personal life. And as you said that you would want to reach the top of the level of the institute, we really wish that you reach there.
Thank
And
you.
yes, thank you for coming, and all the very best for your
Thank you.
future. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Had
much.
a great time. Bye bye.